on Prime Crime.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. We need the cops here as soon as possible.
It's the 911 call heard around the world, casting the spotlight on a popular YouTuber.
If you're in a position of power and you turn your power and give it over to the kids, that is control.
And her partner in crime.
Hi, I'm Jodi Hildebrandt. I am at the second annual Women's Retreat.
I'm as shocked as anybody. Her and Ruby were just the two wrong things to come together.
In a story that has layers.
She can stay right here on the porch so you can see her.
What are you afraid of, sir?
Upon layers.
Jodi is very smart in how she approaches her therapeutic modalities. It's like a frog being boiled in water. You know, you start off with the cold water and slowly turn up the temperature.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and welcome to Prime Crime. This is where we break down the most compelling true crime cases in America. Our next story takes us all the way out west, but this is a case that had the entire nation buzzing when it broke in late summer 2023. And it all began with one chilling 911 phone call.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help.
August 30th, 2023, Ivins, Utah. What you're hearing is not your typical 911 phone call, but this isn't your typical case, and it all begins with one woman.
Worshipping your child will be placing your child's desires over responsibility.
This is Ruby Franke.
I am kind of a crazy mom in that I love my kids to wear red, white, and blue. They have been wearing red, white, and blue every year since they were wearing clothes.
Ruby Franke was a YouTuber and had millions of followers for her 8 Passengers channel. That's where Ruby's claim to fame really came from.
I think the kids are more excited about the presents the siblings are getting than the ones they're getting.
8 Passengers was started several years ago by both Ruby Franke and her husband, Kevin.
You guys, we are in Florida.
And the kids had no idea.
They have 6 children together, and it was kind of that initial mommy blog YouTube channel where Ruby would basically invite people into her life with her husband and her children.
You guys are gonna watch each other. I made dinner, but you have to eat dinner.
We will.
Got it?
Okay.
No.
Silly business.
I was gonna say hanky-panky, but that's not right, I'm pretty sure. No silly business. That's better.
She focused her family as the main driving source of content for her platform.
What is this?
It's It's a cake and inside is the color of the baby.
So we're gonna find out if it's pink or if it's blue.
A lot of the kids you almost saw grow up in that YouTube channel.
Do you want to start dating? Like, I don't know if I've ever asked you that. I just assumed that you didn't.
I wouldn't care if I started dating, but I'm 13 and I feel like I'm too young.
You know that you can always come talk to me, right? If you ever want to. Good talk.
8 Passengers was the wild ride of the Franke family, with over 2 million subscribers over the years, most likely by parents who were looking at this, looking at the tactics used, looking to them for advice, as so many do on social media.
But you yelled at me.
Shh. The fact that I yell at my kids is a secret. We don't want our viewers to know.
However, these videos started to take a dark turn.
Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch. I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry.
People were upset about whatever was happening on this channel, parenting tactics or how the children were being treated.
You have to vote. Listen, if you do not vote for what fun you want, we will ensure you will have no fun at all.
There were people who were concerned about the things that she was doing to punish her children. She had her son who left his socks outside, made him do push-ups.
Put them in your pocket so you can take them down to the hamper and drop and give me 10.
1.
Put your hands straight out. They're in. They're not supposed to be out. Shape your hands forward. There you go.
There was another situation where her oldest son ended up losing his bed for several months.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months, and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
You've been sleeping on a beanbag.
I've been sleeping on a beanbag since October.
Chad came home from Anasazi and
Russell was like, I want to try dunking the basketball, and I lifted him up on the rim. And left him there. We shot 3 minutes, and he was just hanging on there.
Do you think it's funny? Because
and then I walk out.
If you think it's funny, then that was 7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
It was not funny.
There were a lot of people who were really put off by that. And that led to them criticizing her online.
When looking at the change.org platform, there are a couple of petitions pertaining to Ruby Franke and 8 passengers. There's one from 2020 that actually says, get 8 passengers, Ruby Franke, under investigation for child abuse. There's also another one that still has almost 18,000 signatures. There were obvious concerns.
Eve, this is my tape. What are you doing? What are you doing to this poor baby? Should I tape your eyes to make you sleep?
The biggest thing was seeing all the kids get hurt on the YouTube channels. When I saw split fingers and bloody noses, the things that I saw were off camera, and they were all the stuff at parties. They were just patterns of behavior, saying things like, oh, if my kids won't go to bed, I just give them Tylenol PMs. One conversation with Ruby was over dinner, and me and her argued the whole time about parenting for like a half an hour. For me, there was red flags throughout all of that.
We do know over the years there were a number of calls to Ruby's home in Springville for a variety of things. Some were welfare checks, just checking on their family because the kids were left alone, according to one of the narratives.
Hi, my name is Sherry Franke. My 4 younger siblings are living in Springville, and my neighbors have been telling me that they have been left home alone for about 4 or 5 days.
The CPS visits didn't amount to much. A lot of those are private records. We're not able to get those records. What we did see is Springville police assisting. There's no details of how they proceeded, but clearly they didn't proceed in a certain direction.
In 2022, Ruby Franke stops posting on the 8 Passengers channel. There's a new person in Franke's life, and they're taking up a lot of her time.
Hi, I'm Jodi Hildebrandt. I am at the 2nd annual Women's Retreat in St. George, Utah.
Jodi Hildebrandt was a licensed clinical mental health counselor in the state of Utah. Ruby was working for Jodi at Connections.
Hi, we are live in Mapleton, Utah, and we have Ruby here. And Ruby is a part of the original 10 women that are being trained to become mental fitness trainers.
Connections is essentially a life coaching group or offering from Jodi Hildebrandt. She was the founder of Connections Classroom, but she had 2 other people that worked for her in Connections. One woman is named Pam Botcher, the president of the Connections Foundation, which was actually listed as a nonprofit. The other was Ruby Franke, who was listed as a certified mental fitness trainer.
A man or a woman can be being abusive and they still will have their children given to them, which is horrible. This little boy that you have depends on you, Mom. And I'm hoping that you will be a lioness to protect him.
Connections offered one-on-one coaching sessions with Jodi, or couples classes, or specific classes for women and specific classes for men as it pertained to perhaps strengthening your relationship or getting the most out of your life.
There's all these different behaviors that kids and adults go into to distract themselves from the fear that they don't matter.
But Jodi Hildebrandt isn't without her own controversies.
She was actually put on probation back in January of 2012 for some of the things that she did ethically as it pertained to an individual that she was counseling. His name was Adam Steed. Adam actually saw Jodi back in 2008, and it came out that Jodi shared a lot of his personal client privilege information with members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and also members of a local institution, Brigham Young University, where Adam was working at the time.
I was just so messed up emotionally and mentally after Jodi Hildebrandt that I was scared of my own name. You know, when you're a victim of child abuse and your therapist, Jodi Hildebrandt, tells you the PTSD and the trauma from that is just your sexual addiction, and then she throws you into a class, and then the other three guys start talking about being a voyeurist with victims, being an exhibitionist with victims, being an incest person with victims, was extremely uncomfortable.
We have spent 24 hours between the 2 days talking about how to recognize distortion and move it into truth. We have cried and we have laughed and we have applauded and we have invited people into boundaries. They're very interested in coming back, bringing their spouses.
She wouldn't let me leave therapy. She contacted other therapists and told them terrible things about me so that I couldn't get help elsewhere. She was just punishing me and trying to control my life. When I started to ask certain questions, she just changed everything and went on a complete assassination.
Connections is unique. It's an anomaly in the world. People don't understand that they can actually heal their pain. And if you have not joined the Connections family, I would encourage you strongly.
She brought everybody in. And now she was saying I was mentally unhealthy and I couldn't choose for myself. I lost my children, a huge amount of their lives because of this.
Adam Steed is not the only person who comes forward about Jodi Hildebrandt.
She strips you of identity, she strips you of credibility, she isolates. And so she's saying everything that you say is a lie. Everything that you say is manipulation. You're lying and destroying everyone's life. So for the sake of everyone else's safety, we're duct taping you.
This is Jessie Hildebrandt, Jodi's niece, who alleges physical, emotional, and mental abuse they suffered under the care of their aunt when they were younger.
I was sleeping outside in the snow in the middle of winter in Utah. I wasn't allowed to have a bed. She told everyone that it was like a mummy bag, sub-zero type of sleeping bag. No, it was absolutely not. Her justification to the police was that she was preparing me for outdoor wilderness therapy.
We talked about sexuality, relationships in truth rather than distortion. And so these women gave some amazing points of the sacredness of sexuality and the utmost importance in order to be able to be in a centered, connected relationship.
Jodi kind of prescribes herself as being this person who's very much into honesty, and her whole brand is kind of owning up to who you are and what you've done. She tends to be, I think, a bit more strict than what most counselors would be. And really, probably at the end of the day, her and Ruby were just the two wrong things to come together.
It's gonna sound like I'm like a mean barbarian, but I told the kids, I said, I'm not even gonna let you eat breakfast until you get your chores done.
We're in Utah, where mom of 6, Ruby Franke, who spent years documenting the lives of her children and husband Kevin on the once popular YouTube channel 8 Passengers, has stopped posting videos on the page. This after receiving backlash over her disciplinary and parenting style.
Line who hate me, who would like to cancel me, who would like to see me either burn in hell, as I have told, or disappear off the face of the earth, and I'm not going anywhere.
Franke partners up with Jodi Hildebrandt, a mental health counselor who runs a life coaching business known as Connections.
So Ruby, you want to tell us about what a mental fitness trainer is?
Yes. So we are getting mentally fit. We are getting ready to be your mental fitness trainer. We're getting truth, really easy to teach and help you, and you're going to feel so much better.
Absolutely.
But Hildebrandt herself has come under fire for her alleged manipulative and physical abuse techniques.
She didn't want me to leave her therapy group. I couldn't go to any other therapist. I was trying to go to other therapists because they were saying I was an addict in denial, and it was just crazy. When I tried to get away, she changed everything and went after me in the most bizarre way I've ever seen, and then ruined my whole life.
Jodi is very smart in how she approaches her therapeutic modalities. Because they are so extreme, if she were just to start out with those things, everyone would recognize it and they would be shocked and it'd be like, absolutely not. But she's very subtle and she's very calculated. It's like a frog being boiled in water. You start off with the cold water and slowly turn up the temperature.
The only way you can actually have a fulfilling, and I don't mean physiologically fulfilling, I'm talking about a spiritual fulfilling sexual relationship. It starts with self and then it moves into your partner.
But this partnership between Franke and Hildebrandt has devastating consequences.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help.
The Santa Clara Ivins Public Safety area basically got a phone call, and officers were alerted of a situation at a home in Ivins, Utah, the home of Jodi Hildebrandt. That is where two of Ruby Franke's younger children were at the time 9 and 12. One of them was able to leave and run to a neighbor's house.
We know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry and he's thirsty. And he asked us to call the police. So he's very afraid.
By listening to that 911 call, which still haunts me to this day as a father of a 2-year-old myself, the neighbor, an older gentleman, extremely compassionate in this situation and can't believe what has just stumbled upon his doorstep.
This kid has obviously been, I think he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds. We need the cops here as soon as possible.
The 911 call is heartbreaking. The 12-year-old son ends up getting out of a window in their basement and make his way to the neighbor's house. He's asking for a drink and food. The neighbor, he sees ligature marks. He sees what he describes as emaciated and malnourished. Based on what was found on his wrists and his ankles, this child was tied up for quite some time.
Russell was the one they found first. There was bruising and blistering because of some of the tactics that were used with the cayenne pepper and the honey to put in the wounds and then plastered back over with some of the wrap. It was less described about Eve than it was Russell.
Both Russell and his sister Eve are taken to the hospital for malnourishment and injuries. But there's another pressing issue. Where are Ruby's other minor children?
Officers from a number of agencies in Utah County, Springville Police, Utah County Major Crimes Task Force, they went to Ruby Franke's home in Springville because they wanted to locate the two outstanding children that were under the age of 18. So when officers get to the house, they try to obviously knock on the door, and then they kick the door down. They basically blow right through the door and they clear the house. They realize the children are not there. And then around noon or so, we start to hear that Ruby Franke called her friend, who is Jodi's longtime friend, Pam Botcher.
There's two, one other sibling that we're still looking for, considered still dangerous, and DCFS has a warrant to take them both into custody. Pam was seen picking up in the Springville Rec Center around 1:15 today, and that's how we kind of figured that out and had you guys go out there.
I'm looking for Pam. Is Pam in today?
Yeah, that's my wife.
Is your wife? She's here?
Hi.
Hello, Pam. How are you doing?
Good.
Pam Botcher is the third member of Connections Classroom. The two girls were found at Pam Botcher's home. They were unharmed.
You have a warrant?
Yeah, we do.
Will you just tell them you're all right?
Well, you have to physically see her.
Under that doorway.
What's interesting about all of this, when they reached the front door, and they ask to speak with Pam Botcher, both her and her husband are stunned. They don't understand what is going on.
We'll go ahead and get the copy of the warrant for you, okay? You have a warrant for my house?
Specifically for you.
For you and the child.
Yeah. Okay. So
What is going on?
They ask Pam to come with them. They do place her into custody in a detainment form by actually putting cuffs on her and putting her in one of the patrol cars. They talk to Pam about what she knows about Ruby, what the two girls were doing there, how she had the two girls initially.
Is Ruby Franke's daughter. She's a friend of ours. I did make her scrub the floor, and they vacuumed and stuff because I have company coming tonight from Costa Rica.
Okay.
So, but she did it of her own free will.
Pam says about 5 to 10 to 20 times in this conversation in the body camera, they were just doing some cleaning for me. We ate some ice cream. That's all it is.
So just to make sure I'm understanding all this correctly, Ruby contacted you around noon.
Said she had a family emergency.
And needed you to pick up the girls.
Yeah, she said, would you mind watching the girls while I'm gone? Because she was leaving. I said, yeah, I could do that because I need some help cleaning. I just went to the pool and said, hey, they have a family emergency. Can I pick up? She said, sure. Your mom said you could come help me clean today. She said, okay.
Okay. And what about
Ruby just told me she'd be at the Ace Hardware.
So in Pam's defense, she was extremely confused because I don't think the officer had all the facts because they were getting this from another agency, and then finally things started coming together. As we sit here and talk today, Pam has not been charged with anything. She's not involved in any of this. However, I am curious to know if they questioned her about any of the things that went on with Ruby and Jodi throughout the entire court proceeding.
is it possible I could talk to you by my car? A little out of so we can just talk.
Yeah, she can go in and lock the door.
Go in and lock the door.
Yeah.
If this officer goes with you, her, sure.
No.
No?
When police do end up finding the children at Pam's house, it's not just a conversation that they have with Pam. They talk to Pam's husband, who is very standoffish, obstinate in a way.
She can stay right here on the porch so you can
So I
see
can
her.
see her?
Absolutely.
What are you afraid of, sir?
I don't know what's going on.
So that's what I'm gonna brief you on, but I want to say.
I'm telling you, I'm answering your question. Number one, I don't know what's going on. Number two, I don't want Springville to drive up and you guys whisk her away. And number three, her mom isn't here right now. And I feel like I'm kind of trying to protect her from getting into a bad situation.
And it's not just Botcher's husband who seems resistant.
Do you need medical attention at all? Okay. Is there a reason you're so scared right now? It's us? Okay. My intention is not to scare you. Are you okay? Or is there something that I can do to make you not feel as scared right now? Or would you rather not talk?
The children don't really want to engage with police. They're standoffish.
Girls have been melancholy, literally just sitting on the porch, haven't really said a word to us. They whisper stuff to each other. But
Older sister was saying that it might be rough.
The children are ultimately taken into state custody. Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt are arrested and charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse each with respect to Russell and Eve's injuries.
You're talking about serious bodily injury and you get to the aggravated child abuse portion of it, which is a second-degree felony. That's a 1 to 15-year sentence, which is what these charges ended up being. Sometimes that's related to emotional abuse. Sometimes that's related to severe malnutrition. It can be a combination of them.
The arrest of Franke and Hildebrandt sets off a firestorm.
It really gained the interest from people around the world about how this could take place and how these two lives between Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt came together and just how messy it gets. And I think the rest of the world couldn't believe it because this is something that happens in a movie, right? This is something that is the worst of the worst.
Ruby Franke's own family reacted to the arrest, and on Instagram, her adult daughter Sherry posted the words, "Finally, and today has been a big day." Her official statement reads, "Me and my family are so glad justice is being served. We've been trying to tell the police and CPS for years about this, and so glad they finally decided to step up."
The family dynamic is hard to understand. We see maybe a few social media posts from Sherry, none of the other children. So it's hard to tell the exact standing of the relationship. They've got to be exhausted by all of this, and it's got to be frightening for them.
So you represent Miss Franke? I do. We'll be on the video with us. Okay. Miss Franke, can you hear me?
Yes.
Have you received a copy of the information in this case?
Yes.
Utah 2023. Once popular mommy vlogger Ruby Franke and her business associate Jodi Hildebrandt are arrested and charged with aggravated child abuse of 2 of Franke's young children. But one lingering question remains. What about Kevin Franke, Ruby's husband and the children's father?
There's Ruby. There's our camera. Here's Kevin. Here's our other camera. This is where I pick you up and we're going on our trip. Sherry's first European vacation.
He was shocked, devastated, hurt, felt deceived, didn't know any of that was going on. He hadn't seen his kids for 12 months or more and didn't know that they were even in Ivan's. Kevin very much loved his children and loved his wife and had a strong bond with all of his kids. But Ruby felt like there were differences in their marriage, and at one point, in conjunction with Jodi Hildebrandt, it was sort of like, we have to separate to save our marriage. You know, we'll keep working on our marriage, but for now, you have to be away, and you have to work on yourself, and don't have contact with the kids.
Ruby Franke's separation from Kevin Franke is textbook from what we've heard from other people about Jodi Hildebrandt. It is very similar to what other couples have gone through. There were people that came to us and say, Jodi ripped apart my marriage.
Kevin was attending men's groups that were facilitated by Jodi. He was being downgraded and diminished and told how bad he was and that he needed to repent, and that the best way to repent was to not infect his family with his problems, and that's why you need to stay away.
Despite the apparent separation, Ruby allegedly reaches out to Kevin just before she's arrested.
She was working, and she pretty much just said, "This is an emergency. I need you to come get the kids." He, of course, tore down there, not knowing any of the details of all this that was going on till he got there.
Following the arrest of Jodi Hildebrandt and Ruby Franke, the case slows down. That is until December 2023, when it's suddenly back in the headlines.
I got a note from Ruby's attorney about a week or so before they were going to notice of the waiver hearing. That is waiving the right to a preliminary hearing. In many cases, it means no trial. You can enter your plea agreement. Ruby Franke's statement from her attorneys on that Friday before the hearing said, initially, Ms. Franke believed that Jodi Hildebrandt had the insight to offer a path to continual improvement. Ms. Hildebrandt took advantage of this quest and twisted it into something heinous. Ms. Hildebrandt systematically isolated Ms. Franke from her extended family, older children, her husband Kevin Franke. They took the liberty to use most of that statement by pointing the finger at Jodi Hildebrandt.
Ms. Franke, how do you plead to count 1, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
To count 3, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
To count 5, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
And to count 6, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
With my deepest regret and sorrow for my family and my children, guilty.
I think Ruby's motivation behind pleading guilty was to not put her children through this extended process where she's fighting it and the children potentially have to get up and testify. I think she obviously very clearly wants to reconcile with her children. So I think that there was a notion of her letting her children know that she was taking accountability for it, that she recognized what she did was wrong, and that she's going to be better going forward.
This morning, Ruby Franke pleaded guilty to 4 counts of aggravated child abuse. The state agreed to dismiss the 2 other counts of child abuse. And she agrees, I'll read this one verbatim. She agrees to testify truthfully against Jodi Hildebrandt, and in return, the Washington County Attorney's Office agrees to remain neutral regarding future hearings before the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole.
They needed Ruby to be there to say, look, Jodi was kind of the linchpin in all of this. She knew everything that was going on, and she was advising me. This is what she told me to do. When you're talking about co-defendants in cases like this, it's not uncommon for a prosecutor to try to find one to cooperate against the other.
And Ruby Franke's plea agreement is how the world finds out exactly what happened to her 2 youngest children, Russell and Eve.
Some of the things that kind of came out with the plea form that weren't in the initial booking statement, when you go through and you look at the injuries associated with Russell, Ruby had boots on and was involved in kicking him while he was on the ground. She admits to holding his head underwater. Obviously incredibly concerning.
The tying up and then the emaciation and the malnourishment. They talk about how the 2 children were forced to do physical tasks for hours, even days at a time, like carrying boxes, full books up and down stairs, working outside in the desert climate. They were denied water. They were doing so without shoes. In the summer heat, they were out in the direct sunlight for several days. They were blistering, but there was also part of the abuse about the isolation from other people. They were basically shunned, therefore leading to both of them having severe emotional harm from being treated differently.
How do you know if you are a controlling parent? If you're in a position of power and you turn your power and give it over to the kids, that is control.
Utah, December 2023. Once popular YouTuber Ruby Franke has pled guilty to 4 counts of child abuse against 2 of her own children.
We will be talking all about empowering your children through setting boundaries, teaching them responsibility, and helping them to heal from anxiety. Hope to see you there.
But with Franke's admission of guilt and willingness to testify against her co-defendant, mental health counselor Jodi Hildebrandt, could Hildebrandt fight her child abuse charges at trial?
There's a possible defense of appropriate parenting. There are different situations where maybe you're acting in a way to defend yourself, or you're defending another one of your children from maybe a violent sibling. When you're talking about serious bodily injuries, it's a question of, I didn't do it intentionally. It was really more recklessly. So at that point, it's more of a defense about level of punishment.
But just like Ruby Franke, Jodi Hildebrandt decides not to put up a fight.
Ms. Hildebrandt, how do you plead to count 1, aggravated child abuse, a 2nd-degree felony?
Guilty.
And to count 3, aggravated child abuse, a 2nd-degree felony?
Guilty.
To count 5, aggravated child abuse, a 2nd-degree felony?
Guilty.
And to count 6, also aggravated child abuse, a 2nd-degree felony?
Guilty.
Once Ruby pled guilty and she knew that Ruby was going to testify against her, her case became a lot more difficult because, again, some of the conduct that Jodi is accused of and was charged with is the stuff that Ruby was doing to the kids.
In her plea agreement, Jodi Hildebrandt admits to participating in the child abuse, but she has one more disturbing detail to add.
The other concerning thing about Eve is the fact that she did have to jump into the cactus. According to the plea form that Jodi filled out, she made her jump into the cactus multiple times.
On February 20th, 2024, the duo were officially sentenced. Franke was up first.
She committed horrible acts of child abuse. From May to August in 2023, Ms. Franke and her business partner held her 2 children, ages 9 and 11, turning 12, in a concentration camp-like setting. Had the older of the children not had the courage to run away and ask a neighbor to call the police, heaven only knows how much longer he could have survived in that situation.
For the past 4 years, I've chosen to follow counsel and guidance that has led me into a dark delusion. My distorted version of reality went largely unchecked as I would isolate from anyone who challenged me. I was led to believe that this world was an evil place, filled with cops who control, hospitals that injure, government agencies that brainwash, husbands who refuse to protect, and children who need abused. Kevin, my husband of more than 23 years, you are the love of my life. I'm so sorry to leave to you to finish what we both started together. To my babies, I was so disoriented that I believed dark was light and right was wrong. I will do anything in this world for you. I'm committed to continuing my learning until all of my toxic layers are shed and I am ready to re-enter as a contributing member of our beautiful society.
The sentence will be that Ms. Franke serve 4 counts, 4 1 to 15-year sentences based on her convictions for 4 counts of aggravated child abuse. They will serve consecutively.
And then it was Jodi Hildebrandt's turn.
I sincerely love these children. I desire for them to heal physically and emotionally. One of the reasons I did not go to trial is that I did not want them to emotionally relive the experience which would have been detrimental to them. My hope and prayer is that they will heal and move forward to have beautiful lives.
But not everyone was buying what Jodi was selling.
The fact that she was being held accountable was completely, I'm still having a hard time coming to terms with that. This is something that I have been trying to talk about for almost 15 years, and people that needed to hear didn't listen. Nothing was done.
It's so obviously a manipulation tactic to save face.
She knows exactly what she's doing.
You don't get accused and convicted of child torture and then suddenly are like, oh, I just really care about these children's healing. Like, that's not what happens.
I almost fell over in the courtroom when I heard Jodi say that she loved those children. Jodi doesn't love children. Jodi's like Ted Bundy.
After being caught, Ms. Hildebrandt has shown little to no remorse for her actions. In telephone conversations that will be provided in full to the Board of Pardons and Parole, and which she knew to be recorded, she's repeatedly claimed that she is the victim and the children are the perpetrators. She has gone so far as to say that the things said in this proceeding and covered by the media today will be full of lies.
Ms. Hildebrandt, this circumstance is tragic. It's largely, of course, of your making. By any measure, your conduct in this case was disastrous for these children. Adults are supposed to protect children. Adults with specialized training in particular are supposed to protect children. You didn't do that. In this case, you terrorized children.
Like Ruby Franke, the judge sentenced Jodi Hildebrandt to 4 consecutive sentences.
Given that these are second-degree felonies, the most they'd be looking at on the top end is 30 years. They're not going to do 30 years. There will be a matrix that's run. They don't have a criminal history, so they'll be on the bottom row. For the second-degree felony, it's 18 months. That's kind of the minimum. And then the Board of Pardons and Parole gets the opportunity to decide if they're going to get the chance at parole at that 18-month mark, or if they need more time in prison. And the board will look at several different things. Have they done any treatment? What has their overall demeanor been like while they've been in custody? What do the children want to happen here? Ruby and Jodi, by my math, are looking at a minimum of 39.6 months.
This is one of the worst child abuse cases that we've seen. I think that a 4-year minimum for Ruby's actions are entirely appropriate. I hope that Jodi serves more time than that, and I hope that she isn't out of prison until everybody is completely confident that she's no longer a risk.
With Hildebrandt and Franke behind bars, The next chapter of this story begins. Kevin Franke has officially filed for divorce from Ruby, and at the time of this recording is actively fighting to regain custody of his young children.
Once he found out the full truth about how these children had been treated while they were in Ruby's care and some other things that have been going on behind the scenes, just thought it was the right time to do this. In terms of getting the kids back, there's a process that the court sets up, and in terms of helping them become rehabilitated from the trauma they've been through with Ruby and Jodi. I think that's the state's objective, is to work them through that, as is Kevin.
Unless you've had this level of like narcissistic or psychopathic abuse, I can't explain it to you. And then you have the layers of your children. They don't have the biological mental facilities to understand what's going on. And this is not going away. These children are going to deal with this potentially for the rest of their lives. It doesn't stop. This nearly killed me. Trust your instincts. Build up that muscle of intuition, because the things that you're feeling are true. So ask the questions. Trust yourself, so people like Jodi and Franke are not held in positions of power. And they can be your neighbors, they can be your aunts, they can be your mothers.
That is the saga of YouTube momfluencer Ruby Franke and self-described life coach Jodi Hildebrandt, two women who claim to be authorities on child rearing, only to end up pleading guilty to child abuse. A lot of takeaways from this one. First, just the cost for the quest of fame, what's really going on behind the scenes of online influencers. But maybe the most important one of all, be careful who you get advice from. That's all we have for you here on Prime Crime, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jesse Weber, and until next time, stay safe. On Prime Crime.
Hi, I'm here for a missing persons report.
A night out for a mother of three ends in tragedy.
Her injuries were brutal. It was so bad that they couldn't ID her.
But identifying a killer.
When I interview someone, what I want to do is give them the opportunity to talk.
Becomes a complicated task.
Thank you, guys. So nobody. That's your alibi? Your alibi is the guy that's in custody for murder. That's what you're going to walk out this door with?
As we move from one suspect...
Right now I'm going to be taking you into custody.
...to another.
So obviously you're brought here in handcuffs, right? Which means you're arrested.
Hey there, everybody, I'm Jesse Weber, and welcome to Prime Crime, where we break down some of the most compelling and memorable true crime cases. Back in 2016, a woman goes out for the evening to have some fun, but the night takes a very dark turn. This is the case that you may think is easy to solve, but as we're about to show you, the answers are sometimes not right in front of you.
Brown County Public Safety.
Yes, how do I go about, the missing person?
In May 2016, out in Green Bay, Wisconsin, a 911 phone call begins a new case.
Who's missing?
It's my girlfriend, and she does live with me, and she's never done this before.
What's her name?
Nicole Vanderheyden.
Nicole Vanderheyden was a mother of three, was a substitute teacher, and was described by most of the people in her life as someone who really enjoyed life. She was described as someone who had a zest for life, enjoyed the outdoors, and a holistic lifestyle.
And what's your name?
Doug.
Last name?
Petrie.
Doug and Nikki had been in a relationship. They had been in a relationship for some time. They had had a child together.
Officer Shield arrived at Berkeley Road on May 21st, 2016, completing a missing persons report. Hi there. Is Doug here? Oh, okay. Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I'm here for a missing persons report.
Time becomes critical in a missing persons case, and one of the first things investigators need to do is to understand the sequence of events leading up to a disappearance.
What's going on?
I haven't nobody's seen or heard from her since last night. I'd say like midnight.
Nicole Vanderheyden was with her boyfriend, Doug Dietrich, and they were out with a group of friends.
We were actually on the west side at the watering hole. I was on my way down there, and she was down at the sardine can with some other friends of mine. Actually, they were at the, what is it called, the Sandlot or whatever? There's a concert there, and that was over with. And then I spoke with her, and she was already in the car with my friends, headed down to the sardine can where we were all going to go down.
During the evening, they had a disagreement and became separated.
My friend Erin saw her. She was upset and walking away down south on Maple Street.
So before you even got down to the sardine can, he texted you that she just stormed off south on Maple Street.
He talked to her in the car, and she was all mad.
Who's he?
Doug.
Okay. What was she mad about?
I don't know. She said I was talking to a girl. Well, I have no idea.
Were you guys drinking?
Yes.
Doug's intoxicated, Nicole's intoxicated. Obviously, alcohol is a contributing factor. You're not making the best decisions because we're not thinking and acting the same way.
I was still at the watering hole and wondering where she was, and because we were going to go on to the next place as the show was over. And, that's when I talked to her, and she was with a couple of my other friends, riding with them. That was actually on the phone. It was
Did you call her? Did
conversation.
she call you?
I called her.
She was angry at Doug because she thought that he was flirting with other people that night. There wasn't a seamless relationship between the two. There had been some static in the relationship, some arguments historically.
We had actually talked to her. I was called her on the way down. You actually talked to her.
I talked to her. She was mad. She was walking. She was trying to get her to tell us where she was. I thought maybe if I was talking to her instead of Doug, that maybe she would let me know where she was and let us come pick her up, so she's not just wandering the streets.
Yeah.
She didn't believe that I wasn't Doug talking to her, and she hung up.
Okay.
And then every time we tried to call her again, her phone just went to voicemail.
Nikki went to the sardine can and Doug did not, at least not right away. And that's where law enforcement kind of ran into a little bit of a dead end, because the last video that they had of Nikki was leaving the sardine can and they didn't know where she went next.
Did you see her walking?
No.
We drove up and down the streets for a while trying to find her, and then we went back to the sardine can thinking maybe she walked back there, and then we asked people around the sardine can if they had seen her.
What time did you guys get home?
2:30 maybe.
Doug then went home and relieved the babysitter and took care of his child, and he reported that he was hungover the next day and assumed that she had been as well. So while he was concerned that she hadn't shown up, he wasn't so concerned at that point to make a missing persons report or alert authorities. It wasn't until some time later that he actually did report her missing to the police.
Is it normal for her to sleep off being angry at you somewhere else? Is that normal?
No. Even when she's been upset with me, still will maintain contact.
We had text messages from that night that were very indicative that there was issues.
She told you where she was at, but she was definitely upset at that time, thinking maybe she saw you talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Okay.
She had sent me a text saying that.
That she was upset with you?
Yeah.
Can I see the text? Why is she calling you abusive?
I don't know.
As we learned more into the case, the relationship maybe wasn't what it seemed between Nikki and Doug. Doug had allegations of abuse against him in the past. The fighting that had happened before obviously was of concern to law enforcement.
Investigators then bring Doug in for more questioning.
What time do you leave the watering hole then?
I didn't leave. I
I'm guessing around midnight-ish. A little after. I was pretty intoxicated at that point.
The first person we are going to look at is the significant other. They're the closest to the person. A lot of times they're the easiest to eliminate, depending on their alibi and the evidence that we see.
How long do you think you drove around looking for her before you went to the sardine can?
To be honest, I don't think 10 minutes. I don't know.
And this whole time you were driving around looking for her, were you either calling and or texting her?
Yeah.
When I interview someone, what I want to do is give them the opportunity to talk. I'm looking at body language. How's the person reacting?
What do you think happened, or where do you think she may have gone? Any idea?
To be honest, I don't know. I think she just sort of just walked on. I think she might have went to another bar.
A lot of times, I'm going to ask questions that I already know the answer to see if they are being truthful or find any type of deceit.
At some point this morning, you woke up and must have been kind of freaking out that she wasn't home yet.
Yeah.
It's always hard to judge people, especially when they're going through something traumatic. My initial read from it was it just seemed like somewhat of a lack of emotion to some extent.
Did you at any time think about getting out and going looking for her?
Yeah, well, that's when Greg was, I got a hold of Greg and he said, can you give me a ride to my car? And I had Dylan, so I had asked my parents to come over and watch him. In this time period, I get more and more worried talking to people and not finding any answers.
Investigators put their attention on Dietrich, particularly since he didn't report Nicole missing until the following afternoon. But is he the one responsible for Nicole's disappearance?
So Friday was the last time that her vehicle left your residence?
Yep.
You haven't driven it at all this weekend?
No.
This case is about to change when police receive another 911 phone call.
Franke County 911, what is the address of your emergency?
It's just about by the corner of Bellevue and is that Alloway Avenue where they crisscross? We just found a human body laying in some weeds. Oh God, we're clear in a field here and we just ran across it.
There was a farmer that had been picking rocks in a field with his family, and they had discovered a body in the field that was kind of in the woods.
You don't have any kind of injuries anywhere, anything?
Well,
I mean, like scratches, something that would look like you've been in a fight.
No.
Would you consider Nikki to be a scrapper, a fighter?
No, I mean,
she
could hold her own, I bet.
In 2016, Green Bay, Wisconsin authorities are trying to find out what happened to Nicole Vanderheyden, a mother and teacher. They question her boyfriend and father of one of her kids, Douglas Dietrich, who had been out with Nicole the night of her disappearance, but separated from her when the two began to argue. However, the day after she went missing, police receive a startling call.
Is the person beyond help, or do I need to give you instructions for CPR?
No, it's beyond help. It's starting to decay.
Is it a male or a female?
It's got long hair.
This body that was found down the street, I don't think it's been 100% identified as her, but there's a lot of similarities.
What do you mean a lot of similarities?
It's a physical description, height, blonde, belly button ring.
In a tragic turn of events, that body was positively identified as Nicole Vanderheyden.
She had suffered from strangulation and blunt force trauma to the head, and there was indication of sexual assault.
Her injuries were brutal. It was so bad that they couldn't ID her. They had to formally identify her through dental records. She had bruises all over her body. I believe it was over 200 different bruises.
What happened? Well, I don't know.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
An off-duty deputy found a bunch of clothing that was just on the side of the road, and that happened to be her personal belongings. Some of her clothes, maybe a purse, discarded right there on the highway near where her body was found. It was near her house.
The suspect in this case committed these horrific crimes, chokes her, and then is probably in panic mode, realizing that I need to at least distance some of this evidence from the body.
You haven't talked to Aaron yet.
We're working on it. Why are you so concerned that we talked to Aaron?
Well, he's the last person I've seen her that I know. I want to know at least his story is true and...
So basically what we know right now is what you've told us.
Now, investigators focus more on Dietrich.
Did you do anything to cause her to go missing?
No, not at all. Besides being on the phone.
Well, the next step in this is to search your house.
Okay.
And her car.
All right, well, I understand that.
So there was a search warrant written for your house.
Okay.
And they're headed over there now to search your house.
Okay.
In these types of situations, the person that's closest to them, they have the most to gain.
When they go search your house, is there anything in there that they're going to find that's going to say you had anything to do with it?
Absolutely nothing whatsoever.
Okay.
Nothing. I have nothing to do with this. I mean, it's just...
However, law enforcement does find something at the home that Dietrich shared with Vanderheyden.
There was blood found in the garage. There was a footprint or a shoe print found on Nicole that looked similar to the tread of a sneaker that was found within the residence. There was also what appeared to be blood on that sneaker.
There was actually a neighbor that had been cutting his grass, and he had hit something with his lawnmower. They had found a frayed cord that was believed to be one of the murder weapons. When you put that all together, ultimately the crime scene was right there in front of their house.
Sergeant Slinger with Lieutenant White on Monday, May 23rd, attempting contact with Doug Dietrich at his family's residence.
Why don't we step outside quick?
Okay, here's the deal, Doug. Right now I'm going to be taking you into custody. I'll be handcuffing you. I'll explain all that to you in a bit. And transporting you down to the sheriff's department. Okay?
Okay.
So just be cooperative with me,
all right,
and we'll roll it that way.
Wow, okay.
All right.
Forensic evidence, the fighting, and failing to call 911 for hours after Nicole's disappearance all lead to authorities arresting Douglas Dietrich. At one point in the investigation, law enforcement interviewed Dietrich's friend, Greg Matthew.
We're trying to determine if you're really truly trying to help us or if there's something amiss. Doug is providing a story. Doug is with us. So that's kind of a big deal, isn't it? Right now he's with us. I know.
Matthew had been with Dietrich on the night that Nicole was killed, but he's adamant he played no role in what happened.
Whatever the issue was with Doug and Nicole that night, I don't think that it was pre-planned. I don't think it was something that was malicious. Not only do I not think that Doug wanted this to occur, but I especially don't think that you wanted this to occur. Honestly, I had absolutely nothing to do with what? What did you have nothing to do with? Anything to do with you. What did you have nothing to do with? I did not see Nikki again after she left the watering hole. I absolutely did not see her again. The evidence shows that your friend, Doug, had involvement in her murder. There's no doubt about it. I tried to help you guys as much as I can. I've been thinking about this timeline for the last 72 hours. Can you tell me what you could possibly think that we would have found at his house that would cause Doug to be with us? No idea. I would hope that he wouldn't have been able to find anything at his house, because I would hope that he had nothing to do with this.
And that's when Matthew has had enough.
I never saw Nikki again. I left the house while Dallas, was the babysitter, was still there. Who can vouch for you for the 60 minutes before you showed up and made contact with Dallas? Who can vouch for where you were if your phone is dead? Thank you, guys. So nobody. That's your alibi? Your alibi is the guy that's in custody for murder. That's what you're going to walk out this door with? When you are starting to accuse me of being involved in this in any way. And I don't want to accuse you of being involved. Yes, you are. You're telling me, oh, it'll make you feel better if you told us the truth. I've been telling you the truth. Doug disclosed nothing to me. He has kept to his innocence every single time I've talked to him. So if he's in custody for murder then he's being framed. If Doug was involved in something like this, would he tell you if he had any involvement in it? And he better not, because if he told me he had any involvement in it, I would tell you guys immediately.
That is an interesting question. Do authorities have the right person in custody? Did Douglas Dietrich kill Nicole Vanderheyden?
How does this work with the attorney?
It's your right to request an attorney.
How do I didn't even determine if I want which one I wanted or anything like that.
Wisconsin man Douglas Dietrich is arrested in connection with the murder of his live-in girlfriend Nicole Vanderheyden. The night of her disappearance, she had fought with Dietrich, and the forensic evidence indicates she was killed outside their home. While it may appear police have their man, not so fast. There's something that Dietrich had been wearing that would ultimately save his life.
I'm a decent guy.
Okay, I'm a decent guy too.
And I get that, I'm sure you are. You seem like a real nice guy. The other one's good. This one's kind of got caught up on the Fitbit or what? Yep. Yeah.
Investigators noticed right away that Doug was wearing a Fitbit during their initial investigation. The data showed that Doug was not mobile at the time that Nicole had gone missing and her body was disposed of in a nearby area. It showed that Doug was at his residence during the time that Nicole had been missing.
As part of another piece of essentially an alibi, there was a progressive snapshot on Nikki's car. The vehicle had not moved.
A lot of the evidence initially pointed to him, but it was ultimately a red herring because when they later investigated the blood that was found in his home and on the sneaker, it wasn't actually Nicole's blood. Doug had gone turkey hunting some time before her disappearance. There was no physical evidence linking Doug to Nicole's disappearance or to her death.
With that, Dietrich is cleared as a suspect and is released after his arrest. So the question becomes again, who killed Nicole Vanderheyden? A closer look at the forensics from Nicole's crime scene takes investigators in a new direction.
When they found her body in the field, she was wearing one sock. DNA was found on that lone piece of clothing on her body.
The DNA that was found on Nicole's sock was run through the system, and it was later revealed to be identified as belonging to George Birch.
George, Steve. You want to stand up for me? I'm just going to check your pockets one more time, and I'll take the handcuffs off you. You don't have anything on you, no pocket knives or anything? Oh, no, sir.
George Stephen Birch, a then 38-year-old who moved from Virginia to Green Bay, Wisconsin.
So, how tall are you? About 6'7", 260, roughly.
Once Birch's DNA came up, law enforcement did surveillance and watched Birch and followed his movements. And they later realized that he had been involved in a hit-and-run accident.
He said that he hadn't been involved, and he said that his phone data would ultimately prove that he wasn't involved in that hit and run. So he had given consent to search his phone.
What's your phone number? Oh.
Google Dashboard was used to find out exactly where Birch was located, and it uses cell phone tower data. And so Birch's phone was in front of Nicole's residence at one point, and then later where her body was ultimately recovered.
His data points placed him in all these key points where they had found that key evidence, where they had found the clothes dumped on the highway. So all of a sudden they were able to pinpoint that George was in all of those locations.
So obviously you're brought here in handcuffs, right? Which means you're arrested. The reason you're here is in reference to a homicide investigation into Nicole Vanderheyden, okay? So is this something that you want to talk to me about? Sir? About that? You don't want to talk to me about that? So if I read your Miranda rights, you don't want to talk to me? So I would prefer a lawyer.
And after Birch is arrested, investigators conduct another test.
George, remember me from before, investigator Slinger? As part of this investigation, we have a search warrant signed by a judge that you'll be allowed to bring back with yourself for your DNA. So I ask that you cooperate with the process. Basically what I do is just do a swabbing of your inner cheek on each side. You open your mouth for me.
Birch's DNA profile matched swabs taken from the victim's ankles, right wrist, right forearm, right hand, fingernail clippings, left arm, left palm, and non-sperm vaginal and cervical swabs. Additionally, testing showed that Birch's DNA was found on the cord that was ultimately used to kill Nicole. Despite the fact that George's DNA was found on Nicole's body, he consistently denied that he had anything to do with her murder.
Birch is charged with the murder of Nicole Vanderheyden. Do authorities have the right man this time? And what does Birch say happened?
What's going to happen now is I'm going to call for a squad, and you're going to be transported to the jail. I will give you a business card of mine to go with you, and if you change your mind at any time that you wish to speak to me, you'll have the avenue to do that.
It's February 2018 out in Green Bay, Wisconsin. A televised trial is beginning in the 2016 murder of mother of three and teacher Nicole Vanderheyden, whose body was found in a field after a night out when she separated from her friends and boyfriend. Prosecutors say a stranger, George Birch, brutally killed Vanderheyden after meeting her earlier that evening.
Who has been proven to have been with Nikki in the last hours of her life? Whose DNA is on her sock? The sock he left behind on her battered body. He's with her in her last moments. The Google dashboard. Who's with Nikki at the 4 key areas of Brown County? Defendant's phone continues to track him, continues to place him, it continues to implicate him. It puts him on the murder scene on Berkeley. It places the defendant at the field on Hoffman, where he dumps her body. His phone tracks him to where he disposes of her clothing and her personal belongings.
The strongest evidence against Birch was the physical DNA and the phone data that showed the location of the phone, or by extension him, on the night that Nicole was missing.
I also see law enforcement and the district attorney making sure that their case is airtight so that it makes it through an appeals process and that the appeal is denied.
The prosecution called Douglas Dietrich, Nicole's boyfriend and father of their son, who at one point was actually a suspect in her murder until forensic and digital evidence cleared him, including the use of his Fitbit that tracked his steps.
How was she with Dylan and her other kids?
She was a very good mother. That's one part I liked a lot about her, was just how caring, and she did everything that the kids needed and taught them well.
Doug was one of the lead prosecution witnesses. He seemed to be honest, he seemed to deliver with integrity, and he did not appear to be overly prepared.
How would you describe your relationship with Nikki?
It was very, very good for a lot of it. We did have little arguments here and there, but always had plans for future and everything like that. We had talked about marriage and everything like that.
He admitted when he didn't know certain facts, and he also conceded negative points. The arguments between he and Nicole, text messages between the two of them, and all of these concessions of negative points helps to show Doug's honesty.
Did you have absolutely any involvement in Nikki's disappearance or death?
No, I did not.
I think that the state wanted to paint their relationship, and Doug's initial direct testimony was that they had a very good relationship. He had testified about how he envisioned them walking down the aisle together. From the defense perspective, we were pointing the finger at him.
The facts show you that Doug Dietrich committed this crime. Justice for Nicole is not going to be delivered by a wrongful conviction of George Birch. Doug Dietrich had the motive, the opportunity, and the connection.
The cross-examination during the trial was trying to get into that they had been fighting, that the relationship maybe wasn't what it seemed between Nikki and Doug. It was showing that maybe that there was issues between them.
In May of 2016, were you closer to breaking up with Nikki or closer to marrying Nikki?
I would say, in between, there was, we had some arguments about a few minor things.
How about when you told her, I'm very seriously thinking about telling Nikki and the kids they have to move. I'm not cut out for this life one bit.
I was having a little downer day or whatever, and I just said that to my mom with not truly meaning it, I guess.
I think the first day we were able to paint that he had the motive.
When did you start receiving the text messages from Nikki?
What text messages are you referring to?
The messages that Nikki sent to you where she started, so what you with, and then when she said, you abusive, those text messages.
The second day was more effective of really getting our theory. My cross started to focus of just all the opportunities, all the red flags that were raised of there was something amiss here. Nikki was not home. You didn't call police right away because he already knew where she was. He had committed the crime.
So roughly that's 8 hours since you had saw Nikki. You did not call the police at 6:30?
No.
You did not call Nicole's sister at 6:30?
No.
You did not call Nicole's mother at 6:30?
No, I did not.
You just went back to bed.
Yeah, I was tired. I was hungover.
And then you woke up again around 11.
Yeah, I think approximately 11 o'clock.
And now it had been 12 hours since you had last seen Nikki. She still wasn't home for Dylan.
No, she was not.
Did you search for Nikki on foot or by vehicle?
No, I did not.
Still didn't call the police?
I did not at that time, no.
Because you knew you didn't have to.
I don't know what you're... I mean, I was starting to get concerned.
But then, something major happens during the trial. Something that could change whether the jury finds George Birch guilty. Birch himself decides to testify.
That's always his choice and his call in terms of George's case. Part of a pretrial motion to point the finger at and accuse Doug of committing this crime was that a lot of the story was coming from George himself, just explaining what he had gone through.
And it's that story that kept viewers glued to their screens.
Roughly a little bit after 11, I went to Richard Crane's right down the street. Said hi to like a lot of the usuals that knew me, asked me how I was doing, everything like that. When I went to the bar.
At some point when you were there, did you end up meeting someone who you now know as Nicole Vanderheyden?
Yes, sir.
We learned that she went to Richard Cranium's, which is another bar right down the road in the Broadway district here in Green Bay, where she eventually met George Birch.
I noticed there was a fairly attractive blonde woman standing next to me. Started talking to her, just making conversation. She was by herself.
Did she give you any indication that she was actively in a relationship?
Not that I could tell, no sir.
How were you acting towards her?
I was flirting.
And how was she acting towards you?
Somewhat the same, pretty much. Flirting back and forth with each other.
He had met Nikki, they had talked, they had hit it off. He didn't know who she was, but he was attracted to her, and they were gonna go back to his house. And ultimately, the people that he was living with were awake, so he didn't want to go in there at all. Nikki had brought him back to her house.
Did you go in her residence?
No, sir. She said there was a light on that. She thought the babysitter was still up.
What happened after that?
Started fooling around, messing around a little bit. Started kissing.
Did you guys stay in the front seat?
No, sir.
Where'd you go?
The back seat.
Did you have intercourse?
Eventually, yes.
Would you describe this as, I guess, gentle intercourse?
No, sir.
Police testified that Birch's DNA was found on Nicole's body and that there was non-sperm DNA that was found, suggesting that there was a sexual encounter, but not conclusive whether it was consensual or rape. He claims that he had a consensual sexual relationship with her. In the back of the vehicle, they both were largely nude in the middle of the street in front of her residence, which her family members found that would be difficult to believe knowing Nicole.
That's when this story takes a shocking turn.
What ended up happening?
The next thing that I remember, apart from us having intercourse, was literally waking up on the ground outside the truck, laying in the grass curb area. I didn't know what was going on. I looked down and I'm laying on the ground and my pants are around my ankles, literally behind me. Something kind of, I wouldn't say hit me, but nudged me and made me aware that I was not the only person there.
Did you hear anything?
The first thing I heard was Don't even think about it. I saw what looked like a man standing with a firearm in his hand. It was fairly dark. I saw someone that looked like a hooded sweatshirt. Couldn't really see any faces, just glimpse.
As they were becoming intimate, suddenly he was hit with something. And when he started to come to, he had noticed that there was somebody that he didn't know had a gun. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know what was happening other than he was terrified for his life.
I was instructed to move to the back end of the vehicle. I noticed someone or something laying in the back behind the truck or behind the Blazer. And I realized that it was Nicole laying there.
Did you know if she was alive or dead at that point?
I didn't know if she was alive. There was a lot of blood. I was pretty much instructed to, or told to pick her up.
Did you?
Reluctantly, yes.
Were you able to tell whether she was alive or dead?
I wasn't certain, but it definitely didn't look like she was.
So once you picked her up, what happened?
I was instructed to carry her and put her in the vehicle.
It truly was a fantastic story, but George's story from that night also really did fit the evidence in a way. It explained why he was at these places, why his DNA was where it was.
I was pretty much instructed to go around the back of the vehicle, around to my driver's side. When I got in the driver's seat, he had got in the passenger seat behind me and shut the door. To be completely honest, I just remember I was told directions on which way to go and where to turn.
This person with a gun forced him to put Nikki's body in his vehicle because he was the person driving. This person brought him to a field to essentially drop off Nikki's body. When they had thrown the body where it was found in the field, it was kind of there was a steep incline. He was able just to make a break for it because he thought he was going to be killed.
That's when I turned, and with everything I had, I lunged at him and pushed him as hard as I possibly could. He stumbled backwards. I broke forward, hauled ass to my car.
Did you get back on the paved road?
Yes, sir.
Where he came from, you didn't talk to police. You didn't let them know anything. So he was scared. He was terrified, is what he said. That's why he never called police.
Did you ever see this individual's face?
The best physical image of this face was when I looked in my rearview mirror when I first started driving.
Did you know who that individual was?
Never seen him before in my life.
Do you know who that individual is now?
It was Doug Dietrich.
The defense attorneys, their whole theory in this trial was that Doug did it. The best evidence that would steer away from Birch was that he lacked a motive. We do know that Nicole and Doug actually had an argument that night. And typically, domestic situations, domestic anger, jealousy, those usually fuel these types of interactions that result in untimely death.
Our biggest hurdle, I think, was trying to explain to the jury that even if it's a fantastic or an unbelievable story, that doesn't mean that it didn't happen. And if it was reasonably possible, they're supposed to return a verdict of not guilty.
But before the jury would have the opportunity to decide, the prosecution had some questions for Birch.
In your version of the events, you're assaulted, you're held at gunpoint, carried the mangled body of a woman to her final resting place, and the next day, you're going fishing with your buddy with a smile on your face and not a care in the world.
It was a pre-planned event, sir, and I wouldn't say not a care in the world.
He was very self-assured and thought that he would be able to explain away this situation. When you look at the actual testimony, he testifies relatively well.
Isn't it true that you didn't tell law enforcement about this because you didn't think anybody was going to believe this story?
No, sir, not at all.
You thought that this was a perfectly logical, reasonable story that anybody would believe?
It's the truth.
So rather than just beating you or killing you in the middle of the street, he decided to enlist you, a total stranger, to help him dispose of the body of his girlfriend.
I don't know what his plans were.
I thought on direct he did really well, and then when the district attorney was cross-examining him, there's a part where the prosecutor specifically was getting loud and getting hostile on cross-examination in a professional, appropriate way, and George's response was equally hostile.
And it becomes clear that Nikki isn't going to have sex with you. When she attempts to go into her house and leave your vehicle, that's when your mood changes, right?
No, sir.
That's when things get aggressive, don't they?
Not at all.
That's when you grab that cord and strangle her, don't you?
No, sir, not at all.
That's when Nikki gets slammed on the ground repeatedly when she's trying to run toward her house, when those bloodstains lead in a direction back to her home.
None of that is true.
Well, how do you know? You were out cold when Nikki was assaulted.
Because you said I did it.
I think you could argue, well, he's under the most stressful time in his life, so you can't blame him for that, but that's one moment that it was just like, you felt it in your throat a little bit of like, oh, I wish that wouldn't have happened.
Nikki was strangled. She had a fractured jaw, correct?
I don't know, sir. That's what the medical examiner said.
You saw her injuries. You sat through court to see the defensive injuries to her hands, to her feet, to her palms, to her fingernails, that she fought for her life, right?
According to what the doctor said, yes.
You'll have the jury believe that Doug Dietrich sat there and did all of these things to his girlfriend while you were just out cold on the lawn hanging out.
I wasn't hanging out. I had been knocked out from behind, sir, when I didn't know anyone was behind me.
Actually, you didn't say you were knocked out from behind. You didn't remember what happened. You were having sex, and the next thing you knew, you woke up on the ground, right?
It made me lead me to believe that I had been knocked out because I didn't pass out from standing there.
And then you only recall just maybe a small little bump on the back of your head.
I remember being painful in the back of my head.
Not even a bump. Because Ed Jackson would have seen that.
I'm 6'7", so it's hard for someone to see the top of my head.
When they're sitting on a boat within 10 feet from you all afternoon?
That I don't know, sir, what he saw.
2 theories, 1 decision. After 3 hours of deliberations, the jury decided if George Birch was in fact Nicole Vanderheyden's killer.
State of Wisconsin versus George Stephen Birch. We, the jury, find the defendant, George Stephen Birch, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide, is charged in the information.
You felt the tension. Everybody was there that had been watching in terms of Nikki's family, Doug's family, people that were familiar with George and his story. So once they read the guilty verdict, you just heard it was just emotion. It was pure emotion.
The jury's verdict was not terribly surprising. His story did not line up with the evidence, and his story was belied by things that are very difficult to argue with, namely DNA and geolocation data.
George Birch was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
It's devastating. You have children that no longer have their mother around. Very rarely does just a complete stranger walk in and murder someone. And a lot of times they're sloppy, and there's evidence that really will zone in and pinpoint who committed the crime. I think law enforcement in this case did an excellent job. They used the technology piece, they used the DNA piece to put all this together. That's going to give you the best chance of getting that conviction that you want.
Now, the story didn't end there, because Birch appealed his case, arguing against how certain evidence was used in his trial, like the Fitbit data. But in the end, the Supreme Court of Wisconsin upheld his conviction. What matters most in this case, though, is not Birch. It's Nicole. Her family and loved ones have spoken so passionately about her, and you can really understand who she was and what she meant to those around her. I do want to leave you, though, with one quote. It happened during Birch's sentencing, where Douglas Dietrich's mother, Diane, made a statement. And she said, quote, "Go home today, hug your loved ones, tell them you love them, show them you love them." That's all we have for you here on Prime Crime. Thank you so much for joining us as always. And until next time, stay safe. on Prime Crime.
Because first I'm thinking like, she ain't really missing. Once it really set in that can't nobody find her, that's when it hit me.
A 10-year-old girl vanishes without a trace.
There are just an outpour of people that are instantly troubled by her absence. It was something that we had never seen.
Can mounting circumstantial evidence crack the case?
You saw your sister?
I'm tired of people asking me.
You are the key to finding your sister. You want to bring her home?
Yep, hashtag bring Bree home.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and welcome to Prime Crime. This is where we break down the most compelling and memorable true crime cases from across the country. It is a parent's worst nightmare. A child disappears, sending their world completely upside down. And on July 10th, 2020, in Davenport, Iowa, that is exactly what happened. A 10-year-old girl suddenly goes missing in the middle of the night.
911, what's the emergency?
My daughter was staying the night with my son's dad and my son, and I had went into work, and he had just called me and told me that he don't know how long she's been gone.
Frantic mom Aisha Langford calls 911 to report her daughter, Briasia Terrell, has disappeared. She had been spending the night with her half-brother, 8-year-old DL, and his father, 51-year-old Henry Dinkins, at the apartment of Dinkins' girlfriend, Andrea Culberson.
He doesn't know how long she's been gone, nor what she has on, or where she's even going. I haven't even got a call from her or anyone else.
Aisha arrives. She still has her name tag on her work uniform. So she, was coming from her job to come up and deal with this really troubling phone call that she received from Henry Dinkins saying Briasia's gone.
When investigators are first called to the scene, they view this as a missing child. They've got Henry Dinkins and Aisha saying, we don't know where she is. And through body-worn camera, we see these two people outside kind of yelling at each other, and the officer there trying to keep the peace but also gather information.
Your mom?
Yeah.
And Henry lives here?
Yeah, I guess so. This is where he told me to come.
Okay. What's up, Henry? So this is your girlfriend's address here?
Just a good friend. This is crazy, man. This is like, you know what I'm saying? I know she going hysterical, big brother.
I think the most troubling component to this was the unknown. We quickly learned that she was a small child. She was somewhat hearing impaired and vision impaired.
This was one of the first times that Briasia stayed in this location. Where could she have gone if she doesn't know the area?
Who have you called? What doors have you knocked on?
I don't know these people out here. At first, I was riding around looking. And then me and my son started riding around looking.
Have we called family?
I've called everybody.
We've been everywhere. We've been everywhere.
Aisha's emotional response, I think, is very typical. My child was under your supervision, and she's come up missing.
First of all, she would have never woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and she would have never.
What you mean, 8 o'clock in the morning?
I'm just saying.
That ain't what I said. I never said.
Guys, this isn't the time to fight.
Exactly. I don't give a about you walking. You lost her, though.
How did I lose?
Because you was watching her, Henry. What the do you mean?
But, hey.
I'm gone, sir. Come on, D.
Listen to me.
That. I'm gone.
Her anger at him for how he's handling this situation, I think, was very, very warranted. As a mother, you're feeling very frantic. Your child's missing.
For Henry, his attitude is kind of like, why are you mad at me? I'm trying my best.
You guys got to come together right now. This isn't a time to fight about it, okay? How am I supposed to, what do you want me to do? I got no picture. I got no, what do you want me to do?
What am I supposed to do?
Right. I get it. Henry, I get it.
All I can do is look.
I get it, Henry. I understand why she's upset. But when I'm trying to help, she can't run away from me.
You can't
I don't
upset and deal with the issue.
Yes.
You got to keep a level head.
Mr. Dinkins sets forth the notion that she wandered off. So then law enforcement familiarize themselves with the child. Is this the type of child who is prone to do this? Is this a child who has a tendency to run off?
You guys never heard her come down and walk out? There's no forced entry or anything like that?
No forced entry, no.
Was there any fights or arguments or anything last night? Where was she sleeping at?
My bed.
So she was sleeping in the bed with her brother? And you guys slept out here?
Yeah.
Miss Langford talked about relative to Briasia. That is not my child. My child doesn't wander off in the middle of the night. She's scared of the dark and she won't go out in the dark.
Do you know if the door was locked or anything?
The door is always locked.
It may have been locked last night and she unlocked it, but was the door locked when you...
Now, that part I cannot answer.
But then let's say the child came out and maybe there was a third party who might have taken that child. It's a very methodical process where they're ruling out one possibility after another. And every time they took steps to explore a possibility, nothing developed, nothing developed, nothing developed.
Ma'am, you haven't seen a little like 10-year-old black girl with long dreads walking around anywhere, have you?
Well, my God, I'll pray that she gets found and I'll be on the lookout.
Yeah, she will. We'll find her.
They were doing a massive canvas in that whole area around that apartment complex. Ideally, you will find somebody who witnessed or observed something and nobody saw anything.
There are just an outpour of people that are instantly troubled by her absence. She was a very inspirational person within her groups of people, and we saw that around this community, from balloon launches to people assembling thousands of flyers. It was something that we had never seen.
With Briasia nowhere to be found, investigators need to sit down with the last known person who saw her, Henry Dinkins. But now, he's fallen off the map.
They have their contact with Officer Burkle, then he just leaves and he's just missing. So law enforcement is inquiring where he's at. Miss Langford keeps calling him. Miss Culberson is calling him.
After several stressful hours, police finally catch up with Dinkins, and he shows up at the station for questioning.
What's taking you so long to answer my phone call and text message?
Well, I didn't see your phone call. I just answered it just now, did I?
Do you have any info for us?
What type of info? Like what? Like what?
As a prosecutor, my opinion is that the only reason he presented was because he knew that if he didn't go down there, it would be extremely suspicious.
I was gonna come down, man.
It just makes it easier if we just can make contact with you right away.
But I was right there with the officer when he called.
Yeah, but then you left.
Because she left, and it made me mad because she was, basically blaming it all on me.
Up next, the clock is ticking, and detectives need to get to the bottom of Briasia Terrell's disappearance.
It's kind of odd because I never known Bri to ever leave, ever. You know what I'm saying? Never, ever leave. It was just odd.
Anyone you can think of that would try to take Briasia?
Why? For what reason?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
July 10th, 2020, Davenport, Iowa. Investigators are desperately searching for 10-year-old Briasia Terrell. Briasia and her half-brother DL had been staying with the boy's father, Henry Dinkins, at his girlfriend Andrea Culberson's apartment when Briasia vanished. Briasia's mother, Aisha Langford, is in hysterics over her daughter's disappearance.
I don't give a about you walking. You lost her though.
How did I lose?
Because you was watching her, Henry. What the do you mean?
Detectives are questioning the last person believed to see Briasia, Henry Dinkins.
This is crazy, man.
Okay. So let's start out with yesterday.
Yesterday, Lil Dink wanted to come with me.
Okay, Lil Dink is
my son.
Your son.
I raised Briasia.
So Briasia are kind of what you consider your
my
kids.
Is that fair to
say?
They my kids.
Okay.
He's not, what anyone would probably want to recognize as the very active father, a provider. But Henry Dinkins was somebody that has been in their life since Briasia was a little child.
Henry Dinkins is somewhat transient. He doesn't really have a home in which he stays in permanently. He spends some time at his girlfriend's apartment, and he also has a trailer close by in Davenport. But we also know he has a criminal history, convicted of sexual assault of a 5-year-old from when he was 17 years old.
When did you pick them up?
Me and I'm trying to stay cool right now. Me and Aisha, I had seen them and they said they wanted to come and spend time with me. I picked them up at Aisha's mom's house.
And what car were you in when you picked them up?
I don't know, I think it was the Impala, I don't know. We went to the house, they started playing the games at the house. And then they took their showers. And then they got into bed. You know, me and Andrew laid down, I got up, I left. When I came back, I did a little look around. I didn't see Bree. I went and looked for Bree. So I only seen Lil Dink in the bed.
He said he then jumped in the car, kind of expanded his search around the neighborhood. He comes back to the apartment, goes back out searching.
When I came back, Andrea was up. She like, what's wrong?
And then what'd you tell her?
I didn't tell her nothing. I was just like, man, right now I'm frustrated, I'm looking. I should have said something to her, but I assumed that she knew. I'm like, man, something ain't right, you know what I'm saying? I was freaking out a little bit.
If he's saying that he woke up and the child's gone, what is any normal human being going to do? They're going to call that child's mother right away. What else are they going to do? They're going to call law enforcement right away. So when he's not reaching out, that right there raises a big red flag.
When I came back, I grabbed Dink. I texted his mom, like, Bree's missing. She's like, stop playing with me. You know what I'm saying? Stop playing with me, Henry. So I'm like, man, no, I'm not playing, I'm for real. She was like, you're responsible, you know, and it made me feel so bad because I am responsible, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I was like lost. I didn't know what to say to her. I was lost for words. I couldn't even talk to her really. And she was yelling and screaming. First I'm thinking like, she ain't really missing. Once it really set in that can't nobody find her, that's when it hit me. She's missing.
You now know that everybody knows that you're the last person with her, and she's nowhere to be found.
Did you have your phone then when you were looking for her or no?
No. The phone wasn't even a concern.
Sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. Finding her was the concern.
For sure.
Investigators seem to be underwhelmed by Dinkins' story, but his strange reaction to this next question only casts more doubt.
Would you be fine if we downloaded the phone to have the call logs and the texts?
For what reason?
To corroborate everything here.
I can just show you my phone.
I gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? You want to see, I can just show you my phone. I mean, I can just open up my phone and let you go on my phone.
What's the passcode to your phone?
Just give me my phone and I'll open it up for you.
He seems to be very concerned about, well, what do you want to look into my cell phone for? Why do you want to find out where the car is that I was driving? He seems to be both willing to give information, deflecting when they get to certain points, but also trying to befriend the officer.
Why are you looking at me to do my password?
Well, that's what I asked.
No, I said I will open it for you.
Yeah,
but
I'm
not going to give you my password.
Okay.
Why are you still watching? I don't want to open it then, bro.
You know? Okay.
Not if you're staring into me while I'm trying to get my number.
What I'm doing is I'm making sure that you're not going in and deleting anything. That's what my concern is.
Why would I delete something?
You never know with guys. Trust me. It happens.
It boils down to, is this a man who's had a number of run-ins with the law and just doesn't trust them, completely understandable, or is he hiding the truth?
I don't understand how I got suspicious with my own kids, man. These are my kids.
We learned through this early season that cell phone data is not an immediate help to us. We don't have any good information on that for those overnight hours and what was going on.
Where is the car currently?
It's reachable.
Reachable as in?
I can get it to you guys at any time. If you want to search the car, I can bring the car to search.
I received a phone call from a patrol officer that had located a vehicle that was known to be driven by Henry Dinkins. That vehicle was located in front of our library. He parked 2 blocks away from the police station and walked up there, and we have parking right in front of the building. That seems like a concerted effort to conceal your vehicle.
You're breathing kind of heavy. Is it you're just
thinking about my baby? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, it's rough, bro. It's rough. Even though she ain't my biological, but she's still my baby.
What do you think happened?
Big bro, I don't even know. I'm not gonna even try to even put a finger on it. I don't know.
There's a bunch of people right now with the department going out there. We're trying to do what we can.
I hope, pray to God that they find my baby. You know what I mean? Because we need her home.
Definitely.
We need her home.
Yep.
Coming up, authorities speak with another key witness, DL, Briasia's half-brother.
All I saw was bleach and a knife. Did you ask him about that? I was afraid he was going to stab me. Why were you afraid of your dad? Because he's mean. Because he lost my sister.
Could he be the key to cracking this whole case?
This is crazy, man.
Yeah.
I'm more hurt for Aisha. I know she feels some type of way behind it. She like, Henry, you should have had more of a watch. I ain't never have to watch my kids like that.
July 2020, Davenport, Iowa. 10-year-old Briasia Terrell disappears from a sleepover with her half-brother DL at the apartment his father, 51-year-old Henry Dinkins, shared with his then-girlfriend Andrea Culberson. After the girl's mother calls police to report her missing, authorities set their sights on Dinkins, and they feel he knows more than he's letting on. So investigators need to speak with someone else who was there the night Briasia disappeared, DL.
Your daddy picked you up last night. And then what happened when Dad got there?
He told me to brush my teeth, and then my sister came. He said she don't mind if he come.
Did she want to go with him? Okay.
My nana told her don't go, and she went.
Where'd you go right after Daddy picked you up?
He went to go get him some cigarettes, and then we went to his girlfriend's house.
DL, he's very energetic. He has a wonderful mind, and he remembers things. From talking to his mom, we know that he really idolized his father, but DL also understands that his sister's missing, and he is hurt by that.
What'd you guys do last night?
Played again.
And where were you playing that at?
In the living room.
Okay, who was in the living room with you?
Andrea.
Where was your daddy?
In the room with Bree.
What was he doing in the room with Bree? Was he sleeping?
No.
Was the door open?
Yeah.
Were you sad that he was playing with her and not you?
Yep, we're mad.
One of the things that I noted was the fact that his father was in the bedroom sitting with his sister rather than spending time with him in the living room. I really felt that the observation had a lot of significance to what was going on.
What'd you do after that?
We ate dinner, and then we went to bed, and then I woke up, and then she was gone.
Did you go looking for her?
And then me and my dad, when we got back, and then he told me he was lost.
Did your daddy drive you anywhere?
He went a couple places. He went to go fishing with a couple people.
This morning?
Yeah.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was in the car.
Did you actually see your dad with fishing poles? Or did he tell you he went fishing?
He told me.
To explain to a little kid that's got a million questions, probably about where we going, what are we doing. If you're Henry Dinkins and you know that you're going back to a body of water, that's at least a logical thing. But DL never talks about seeing fishing poles. He never talks about going fishing. He just was told he was going fishing.
That's when DL shares a shocking detail that sends detectives into a tailspin.
Did you see your dad get anything out of the car?
He grabbed some bleach, and what I saw in his trunk, he pulled it out. It was a knife. And then he washed it off.
Washed it off with what, though?
Some bleach and a rag.
When detectives find the motorhome and search it, they do find a squirt bottle of cleaner that contains bleach. They find a machete, and that seems to bolster the credibility of DL's memory.
Do you know where he went fishing? Do you think you could take me that way?
I don't remember that way.
What if I drove you down
It's
that
a
way?
long way.
That's okay.
I don't remember.
So
Just the place where he got stuck.
he got stuck? His car
He
got...
needed another push.
Was it by the river or by a creek?
Water.
This has got to be red flags just flapping in the air for investigators to say he must have stabbed her to death. And he must have dumped her body by some body of water.
Detective Obert and Detective Hammes loaded him up in a car with Miss Langford, and they said, let's go for a drive. I could not believe the child's like, oh yeah, this business here. Yeah, we passed by this fast food place. Oh yeah, no, back up. No, we turned here.
As investigators continue to search for Briasia, the pain of her disappearance is felt most by her friends and family.
There's behind the scenes type stuff, okay? We're doing search warrants, we're doing pinging of phones, okay? Obviously Henry ain't talking. Everybody is working on it, okay? It doesn't end, okay?
I know, but it's 9:31 and I haven't heard from her. Not okay. I can't go to sleep with that. Like, what the f***? It's 9:30 and she's nowhere.
In this moment, you see the breakdown of this mother who is completely torn by the fact that she will not be able to see her daughter before she lays her head down at night.
We're not stopping looking for your baby, okay? But I can't go to sleep without knowing she's okay. I have not heard from her. I would do anything. Why my baby? Why?
Over a period of time, it starts to set in that this might not be a missing child case. And so investigators have to reposition the way they're thinking. The case goes from where could have Briasia have gone to where is her body?
Detectives still need more evidence to tie Dinkins to Briasia's disappearance. Nearly 2 weeks after DL's sister went missing, investigators meet with the 8-year-old once again.
So you know you're safe from your daddy, right?
Yes.
Do you know that everyone just wants to find where Briasia is, right?
Yeah.
Including you, right?
Yep.
Let's talk about after dinner. What happened after dinner?
You had to go to bed.
So you locked the front door before you went to bed?
Yep.
So then what happened?
I woke up. He kicked me. Oh, and then I know that him and Bree was walking down the stairs.
Was it light outside or dark outside?
Light.
And how do you know it was him and Bree?
Because I heard Bree's voice.
Where were you when you heard her voice?
In the bedroom.
In the
peeking.
bedroom. Why were you peeking? Was there something going on that you were
Because I was making sure he wasn't doing anything with my sister.
Was he doing anything to your sister? No?
We now have an eyewitness to Mr. Dinkins being responsible for removing Briasia from the apartment, which would counter Mr. Dinkins' statements to law enforcement.
Did your dad tell you not to say anything about something?
Uh-huh.
Can you tell me what your dad didn't want you to say?
Nothing.
Why are you getting mad at me?
I'm not.
Well, you are. Did your daddy say anything about the trailer?
He told me don't tell y'all where the trailer's at.
Why did he not want us to know about it?
Because he was afraid. He said, if you tell anybody that I got a trailer, I'm going to tear you up.
They started pulling video surveillance footage. We are able to start to put together a timeline. He leaves at 3:30. He stopped at the quick shop to get gas in the early morning hours. He parks at the furthest gas pump. We see him go into the convenience store, and he kept looking back out into the parking lot as if he's monitoring what's going on in the car. He arrives back at the apartment right after sunrise. He gathers DL and he leaves.
Where have you been then?
You tell me.
A place where he got stuck, there was dirt, and he had to go, boom!
He talks about some fishermen had helped push him out of the mud. When we find the location of Henry Dinkins' motorhome, it is by Credit Island Park. It has a causeway that goes out to the island. There is also an overflow lagoon area.
Where's the first place you guys went?
I went to go look for her, and then he called
Where
Mama.
did you go look for her?
Everywhere.
Why don't you want to tell me where he took you?
We get a limited phone ping from the Comanche, Iowa cell phone tower in relation to Davenport, Iowa. It's in a whole nother county. Keep in mind, during that time is when Henry Dinkins was out looking everywhere for her.
I've seen you places with your dad, so I kind of know where you went. Do you remember your dad taking you to any type of store?
No.
With that cell phone hitting there, that took law enforcement to the store where we got video. We have him buying Clorox at the Clinton Walmart. He gets there a little before 7 a.m. in the morning.
I'm just making sure I get this right. You saw your sister in
I'm
the...
tired of people asking me.
You were the key to finding your sister. You want to bring her home?
Yep, hashtag bring Bree home.
When we return, what really happened to Briasia Terrell?
They've got to figure out where her body is, because her body will give them all of the information as to what happened to her. Was she murdered? Could this have been an accident?
I know I blames me because I should have had more watch on. I know my baby mama is like furious at me. Like, I never seen her this mad at me, ever.
Yeah.
But she got reasons.
Iowa investigators suspect sex offender Henry Dinkins had something to do with the July 2020 disappearance of 10-year-old Briasia Terrell, his son DL's half-sister. But a discovery 8 months into the investigation will change everything.
The Davenport Police Department was contacted by the Clinton County Sheriff's Department in regarding to the discovery of human remains near DeWitt.
In March of 2021, a group of fishermen stumbled across a skull. There would have been so much overgrowth that no one could barely even see the pond, yet alone a body. But after the winter, that's when this very horrific discovery was made.
An autopsy on the remains was conducted. We've received confirmation that the remains are those of Briasia Terrell.
DL had talked about how his father had gone to an area where it was wooded and there was water. There's a place called Kunau Implement that's out by the area of this pond, and that child described it, and he was right on the money.
She shot in the lower part of her jaw, and then a bullet traveled down a couple of her vertebrae in her spine, and then a bullet went through her right shoulder, and then another bullet likely grazed off of it. And then you can picture what you think a monster looks like, because a monster shot this little girl in the face.
After they found her body, Miss Langford said that she went out there and she just felt the presence of her daughter putting her arms around her and saying, "Mommy, you found me. I'm here. Everything's okay now."
Now, detectives need to put the rest of the pieces of the puzzle together.
We had surveillance of him at different locations in his car, one of which was the Quick Stop gas station. That puts him in a certain location with Briasia because they believe her to be inside the car at the time.
Almost simultaneously, investigators get another huge break.
We got a phone call that you had some information that you wanted to share with us. Tell me everything that you can possibly remember.
My buddy was asking me that because when I was over at his house last night, I said, "You know what's weird about them finding that body up there or whatever?" I said, "Last fall." And I said, "I can't remember the date." I said, "I pulled a black man out of the ditch there in the morning, like 4:30 in the morning."
Law enforcement does find one witness they believe can place Henry Dinkins in the area of the murder.
What color was the car?
I'm almost positive it was red. I can guarantee it was an Impala. So I got on the 4-lane and went about a half mile around the corner, and a black man jumped out the road in front of me and waved his arms. He said he was stuck in a ditch. And asked if I could pull him out. So he got in my truck, I took him down about another half mile, and there I seen his car in the ditch, and it was towards the south end of that pond. His trunk was facing, he was skewed just a little bit off the edge of the ditch.
That was a critical piece of evidence because we had the chunks of mud that got caught up underneath the undercarriage of the vehicle that later then identified as being inclusive to soil samples that were collected from that area after her body was discovered.
I just spun around and backed up to him and I pulled him out. I asked him what the hell he was doing up here. Yeah, he said he made a wrong turn.
Was there someone else in the truck? No.
This morning, Henry Dinkins was charged in the death of 11-year-old Briasia Terrell. Murder first degree, kidnapping first degree.
All the evidence seems to add up to the chilling conclusion that Henry Dinkins killed Briasia Terrell. But why?
There was the belief that she was sexually abused, and that's why she was murdered. But the sex abuse offense was not charged. Because of the state of decomposition, there was no ability to be able to recover any type of DNA evidence.
In August 2023, Henry Dinkins is set to go to trial in front of a jury, but instead, he makes a surprising move.
We were in there early that morning and waiting for the clerks to, call in all the jurors. One of the court attendants comes up. She said, "Ms. Cunningham, defense counsel needs to talk to you." Mr. Freeze said, "Mr. Dinkins wants to waive jury trial." And I said, "What?"
Every person facing a criminal charge has the right to be tried by a jury of their peers, but that right can also be waived and they can ask for a bench trial. A jury would probably hear that sex offender status and not think of anything else.
With the case now being decided by the judge, the trial of Henry Dinkins begins.
It was a normal evening. When Miss Culberson went to sleep, she knew of Mr. Dinkins was there in the living room on the couch. At 3 a.m. in the morning, she woke up. Mr. Dinkins wasn't there and Briasia wasn't there. Now at 3:30 a.m., she heard Mr. Dinkins very quietly come up into the apartment. He collects something from the closet and then he leaves. Somewhere around 5:45, Mr. Dinkins returns to the apartment. Where's Briasia? There's no Briasia.
There was so much detail in this investigation, and everything was about timelines and videos and stuff. I said, what we've got to do is we've got to make everything very visual.
The evidence in this case is overwhelming, and the conclusions are clear. The child was taken from that apartment by a man who was not her father. She was sexually assaulted, and then that child was murdered. And based on all of this, the state is asking you to find Mr. Dinkins guilty of murder and kidnapping in the first degree.
The state calls Andrea Culberson, Dinkins' former live-in girlfriend, to the stand. She was there the night Briasia disappeared.
After you fell asleep, was there any point in the night that you woke up?
It was like at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I kind of glanced over, so I saw that she was not there.
What did you do next?
First thing I did was try to call him. It rang and it went to voicemail. And then like a half hour later, I hear a key. And then heard someone softly coming up the stairs. When I saw him, he had on a whole different outfit. And I was like, what's going on? Where you going? What's going on? And he's like, I'll be back. And it just seemed weird to me.
And was Mr. Dinkins offering any explanation at all?
No.
What went through your mind?
Besides my stomach ripping to pieces, a lot of things. Fear, anger, confusion.
Then, the prosecution's star witness takes the stand, Briasia's half-brother DL, who's now 11 years old. He recounts accompanying his father the morning Briasia disappeared.
Henry came back and got you, and you guys went out to the maroon Impala. Once you got into that vehicle, where do you go?
Walmart.
When Henry got back to the Impala, did he have anything with him?
Bleach.
So after you left Walmart, is that when you went to this dirt road?
Yes.
Did anybody get out of the car at that time?
Henry.
What did you see him do?
Pour bleach. Buy some bushes.
The prosecution was able to cherry pick some consistent statements to say, this is what happened. This is what he saw. Henry Dinkins was trying to destroy evidence.
But during cross-examination, DL drops a bombshell.
What do you recall?
Us three there.
At the location where Briasia was killed?
Yes.
You didn't testify to that today, right?
Yes.
Because that's not true, right?
If you say it's not true.
I'm asking you.
I guess.
Either you were there when she was killed or you weren't.
I said, I guess.
I don't accept that answer, sir.
I was there. Damn.
Your testimony today is you saw Henry Dinkins shoot your sister.
Yes.
For the defense, DL goes up there and says, I saw Henry Dinkins shoot Briasia, where it was completely impossible based on the investigation. That helped the defense.
Isn't it true that you only come up with this story after you heard someone else talk about it?
No.
You didn't overhear police or your mom talking about how Briasia was killed and come up with this story?
I talk about what I saw, not what they talking about, what I saw.
Okay.
Not them.
My perception was that the child got mad and said that because he was angry at defense. And I think everybody in the courtroom who was watching it, nobody believed that the child saw that.
You're angry at your father, right?
Yes.
And you're angry at your father because you think he hurt your sister, right?
Yes.
And you're here today to offer testimony to make sure that he is held accountable for doing that, right?
Yes.
And you're going to say whatever you need to say to make sure that happens, aren't you?
Yes.
Dinkins' defense focused on the lack of physical evidence tying him to the crime.
Moving on to the RV that was found there, was Briasia Terrell's DNA located anywhere that you tested?
Yes, there was one item where when I compared Miss Terrell, her DNA did match, and this was a pair of underwear from inside a plastic bag. Blood and semen were not detected on that item.
Other than that DNA that was discovered in that plastic bag, Miss Terrell's DNA is found nowhere on the items that you tested, right?
I did not have any support for inclusion for Miss Terrell.
As far as, you know, blood evidence within the car and blood evidence on any of those things, no, we didn't find it. Would you like to have more physical evidence? Absolutely you would.
On Mr. Dinkins' person, no DNA of Miss Terrell was located, correct?
Correct.
And on any clothing that was taken from Mr. Dinkins, there was no DNA from Miss Terrell, correct?
Miss Terrell was excluded from the one stain that I sent on for DNA testing. That is correct.
When they found her skeletal remains and the clothing, there was an area on her little black shorts to show discoloration as if Clorox was poured there. Clorox or bleach destroys DNA. You tie that into DL's testimony, into the fact that he traveled 30-some miles away to buy Clorox. That tells its own story. The problem is we can't come out and definitively say that it was bleach because it had been out in the elements.
It didn't make sense, at least in the defense's eyes. How could this man be so sophisticated to basically hoodwink law enforcement and there'd be no forensics found?
I'll just cut right to the chase. Every item that you tested, there was no bleach found on any of it, right? Correct.
I think that withstanding a foot of snow and a couple rainstorms, I think that is more than enough to remove any sort of resemblance of bleach.
They want you to decide this case on emotion. They want you to decide the case with cameras and media in the courtroom, all the officers sitting here, rather than this circumstantial evidence case that they want you to believe. Are you totally convinced that Henry Dinkins committed these crimes? Are you firmly and fully satisfied that the evidence that's been presented before you is enough to say that Henry Dinkins committed these crimes?
For the defense, it came down to the precision of cleaning probably not just one, but multiple crime scenes, that no evidence could be found in this short window of Henry supposedly driving from place to place, grabbing his son DL and driving around some more as he destroyed evidence.
This is not a whodunit. This is who proved it. Reasonable doubt is all over this case, and there's only one verdict here.
Surprisingly, the defense calls no witnesses, and Dinkins exercises his right not to testify.
They made it very, very clear that they were not trying to put forward an alternate theory in this case. They were merely saying the prosecution didn't prove the case.
Nearly 2 weeks after the trial, the judge issues his verdict. Guilty on all counts.
When the judge rendered the verdict, it was obviously the best serving of justice for one of the most horrible things that human beings will probably observe. And I was happy for Aisha to be able to have the closure that she had been waiting for.
Mr. Dinkins, it's unconscionable that you would take such actions to murder a 10-year-old child who was entrusted to your care. It is very clear to this court that you have no conscience or remorse for your actions. This history, coupled with the horrific nature of these offenses against his own child's sister, requires that this defendant be removed from society for the protection of society. It is the judgment and sentence of this court that you be committed to the custody of the Iowa Department of Corrections for the rest of your natural life without the possibility of parole.
Closure doesn't exist here in this case. Justice doesn't exist here in this case. You didn't just take away my baby's life, you took away everything from me. My family's sense of security, lives, health, and potential. You took my baby girl from me and just gunned her down like she was nothing and left her and never said a word at all.
Aisha, the damage to her soul, the damage to both of the boys, the damage to the grandmother's soul, they'll never overcome it. The question being, how do they adjust? And the real worry is DL. I mean, my gosh, an 8-year-old child, this child has lost his sister and his father murdered her. How does a child come to terms with that?
I thought hearing you get a life sentence with no possibility of parole will help me sleep at night, and it just doesn't. Whatever you get won't be enough because peace, understanding, and forgiveness will never come.
Now, at the time of this recording, we have reached the 3-year anniversary of the day that Briasia Terrell was finally found. This case is just another example of a life cut way too short and a reminder of the dangers that children constantly face in this world. That's all we have for you here on Prime Crime, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jesse Weber, and until next time, stay safe.